Tonight, an 18-year-old accused of stealing and crashing a car was arrested along with 3 middle school aged children. Today, a judge set bond for 18-year-old Centuri's Farmer at $150,000. He's currently charged with 1 count of vehicular hijacking, which is a Class 1 felony. Prosecutors say on Wednesday, Farmer and another male approached a man who said he was delivering food to his mother. The victim says Farmer put a gun to his head and took off with his Cadillac. Later that night, police found the car during a traffic stop when Farmer and the other males inside sped off. This led to a chase and then the crash that happened on Main and University in Peoria. All 4 of those suspects took off running and were quickly caught. Now, this is not Farmer's first run-in with the law. He just turned 18 7 months ago in August, and he's been arrested 3 times since then. Back in October, he was arrested for aggravated unlawful use of a weapon, possession of a firearm without a valid FOID card, obstructing an officer as well. In January, he was arrested again for theft, possession of a lost or mislaid credit or debit card, and unlawful use of a debit or credit card. Farmer is currently on probation for aggravated use of a weapon, and he's due back in court April 6th. Also in court today, the woman accused of stabbing and killing a Peoria man this week. 22-year-old Heaven Cruzan is charged with first-degree murder for the death of 34-year-old Lamario Billups. A witness says Cruzan and Billups were in a basement, and that's when she heard screaming. She found Billups across Cruzan's lap with a knife. Billups then got up, saying he was stabbed, and then fell. The Peoria County coroner confirmed Billups died due to a stab wound to the chest. Now Cruzan's bond has been set at $500,000. You can read more on this case right now on our website, ciproud.com. We turn now to a health alert. This morning, House lawmakers voted unanimously to declassify U.S. intelligence on the start of COVID-19. The bill now heads to the president's desk, but it's unclear if President Biden will actually sign it. U.S. intelligence is divided over whether a lab leak or animals are the likely source of the virus. Intelligence on China's Wuhan Institute of Virology cites potential links between the research there and the outbreak. Tomorrow marks 3 years since the World Health Organization declared COVID-19 a pandemic. The virus has killed nearly 7 million people worldwide and more than 1 million in the United States. And the Centers for Disease Control is reporting that 26 Illinois counties are now at a medium COVID level for COVID-19 this week. In our viewing area, Peoria, Tazewell, Marshall, Mason, Fulton, and Knox counties are all listed there. No counties were reported at a high level, though. The IDPH director also warned that cases of Group A strep throat are leading to severe complications, and they're now on the rise in Illinois. More cases have been reported in 2023 than in any of the past 5 years. Taking a look around the state, it hit Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois with a big fine after a WCIA investigation. Our sister station found their network coverage was inadequate. The fine came with a list of the problems the Department of Insurance found in the company's network. And along with paying the fine, Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois agreed to a list of orders from the state on how to fix them. But there was no mention about how help for patients who have struggled would get that help to find care over the past couple of years. This is the second time that the state has fined Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois. The first time was for $340,000 for failing to report their split with Springfield Clinic. The state's investigation made it clear that many of the health insurance companies' problems stemmed from that split.
I think that it's a good first step of accountability about an issue that we've known has existed for a long time, but we've also got more questions, I think, which are, what does this really mean to patients who have and continue to be impacted?
Today, Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois says in a statement, the department's findings affirm Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois' beliefs that our networks offer our members adequate access to care across every Illinois county. In state capital news, most people think your 2 options when you die are to be buried or cremated, but a new bill would let you choose a service that's less common. It's called human composting. The process starts by putting a person's remains with the material like straw or wood chips. It would also be kept at high temperatures, allowing microbes to turn the body into soil. The entire process can take about a month, and the bill would legalize this process in Illinois. Under the proposal, a licensed facility would be responsible for conducting that process. It would also allow places like funeral homes, cemeteries, and crematories to build and operate a facility designed for human composting. A group supporting the bill says it's a more eco-friendly way to be buried.
We view this as a gentler form of disposition, especially in comparison to like cremation. And it also has a lot of environmental benefits. It's very low emission.
Not everyone is on board with the proposal, though. Some religious groups, along with cemetery and funeral home organizations, oppose the bill. Well, it is a controversial topic that has a lot of people up in arms. House Bill 1533 is now aiming to outlaw cat declawing with a few exceptions. The bill's sponsor, Representative Barbara Hernandez, argues declawing is painful and inhumane to cats. But the Illinois State Veterinary Medical Association calls the bill too narrow, putting cats' lives at risk. Dr. Jason Rage agrees, saying declawing is a decision that should be left to veterinary medical professionals and not something that should be legislated.
Hands of the veterinarian, the pet owner, to make the responsible decision. And we are not completely opposed to any legislation. However, we are interested in working together to make sure it secures the safety and well-being of the cat and isn't too rigid to restrict the practice of veterinary medicine.
And Dr. Rage says as a veterinarian, he is interested in the overall well-being of the cat. And from cats to man's best friend, veterinarians and pet nutritionists want to remind pet owners to think about their pets' diets. The FDA has investigated whether grain-free pet foods can lead to a disease called DCM in dogs. While the findings are not conclusive, it is still important to make sure that you feed your pets a healthy diet. Talking to a veterinarian about your pet can give you better ideas on what to feed them. Some nutritionists say that if you do plan on feeding your dog processed food, it's a good idea to add whole food options.
If you're feeding a processed kibble, you want to go with adding some kind of whole food, like even if you just add carrots, green beans, broccoli, or you can add meat.
The Peoria Humane Society is accepting dog and cat food to give to food pantries. This food will help those who can't afford to feed their pets. Well, take a look at this. The Metamora Redbirds are making their way to state after a big win today against East St. Louis. And one of the best parts of the game, the fans, of course. Our Sheridan Hertig has a look at the State Farm Center in Champaign.
We just won! State championship! A rough start for the Metamora Redbirds, but they ended up coming out on top 50-43 against the East St. Louis Flyers. One of the best parts about the game, the fans.
This is what it's all about for us. It's all about the community. The community is here supporting our kids, supporting our coaches. It's all a community effort.
Even with the team down by 8 going into the third quarter, players and the community alike never giving up hope.
Coach Greaves makes some great adjustments. He knows what he's doing. He's been in the craft for a long time. We really just, and Danny, we trust. It's part of our motto. We say it all the time.
Everything that these guys have done this year, undefeated in conference, 30-game win streak, it's just amazing to be back here again.
The team's journey isn't over yet. There's still more to look forward to.
That nice big state championship trophy.
They'll be back here on Saturday against Simeon. We'll keep you updated on CIProud.com as well as on air on WMBD and WYZZ. Reporting in Champaign, Sheridan Hertig.
Well, it is a special day for the Peoria Fire Department as 3 firefighters are moving up in the ranks. Fire Chief Sean Solberger kicked off a badge pinning ceremony today with 3 new promotions. This coming after a recent round of retirements. Solberger recognized longtime firefighter Tony Cummings as the new assistant fire chief. Lori Baxter is also stepping up as the new division chief of operations. And Solberger promoted Ryan Calhoun to battalion chief.
Being in one of the roles of here in the command staff, especially rising to the rank of assistant chief, was something that I never envisioned, something that, I don't know, I'm still excited about it.
Being promoted during this month just proves to other females out there, you can do it.
This is one of the things that I've always wanted to be, being part of battalion chief and overseeing my guys.
And all 3 say today is a culmination of all of their hard work, and they hope to keep giving their all to the department and the city of Peoria. Turning now to a traffic alert, a $24.6 million rehabilitation of the Bob Michael Bridge gets underway this Monday. The 8-month closure will see a redesign with a 14-foot wide pedestrian and bicycle path separated from traffic lanes by a concrete barrier. According to Chris Caregard, who's an associate historian at the Dirksen Congressional Center, Congressman Michael helped build bridges between people and parties. So it's only fitting that the bridge itself is named in his honor, and that those traditional repairs on the bridges fall within that 30 to 40-year time span.
Ability to further expand on that vision that they had when it was first being built, I think is really fitting that we can come back to that now and see in the documents what they were first talking about then and see it truly come to fruition.
And Caregard says residents should expect the bridge redesign to lead to smoother traffic, safer crossings, and will be reminded that this legacy project is in honor of Bob Michael. And a consumer alert, a brand new grocery store will soon be available for residents of Creve Coeur. The Dollar General Plus is set to be built on a patch of land known as Russia Field, and that's across from the Casey's on Russia Street and Veterans Lane. A Dollar General Plus has more options and produce available compared to an ordinary Dollar General. The goal is to put an affordable grocery store in a location that is easily accessible. Currently, there is no timeline for construction to start.